Hey guys, it's Black Spring with Autumn here. And if you'd like to help us out with our AI and dissemination of the stream campaign, please hit that like, unlike, dare to throw caution to the wind by sharing, or just making sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And I want to thank you for your ultimate and baseline level support here on Black Spring with Autumn. And we'll be right back right after this. All right, everybody, it is Black Spring Mobile here. I am doing a quick promo because I want to go live, but it's going to have to be really pretty quick. But, of course, you guys can chime in because it's going to be, I think you're going to be interested in what I have to share on the live stream. But and I'll put the People's Pendulum out there. And of course, you guys can pick it up as you like. But I want to talk about some developments from the CDC, as well as there's one other story that I want to share. But hopefully you guys will come around and you'll be there. Because I'm going to start it like pretty soon. Like I think within the next hour and a half ish, something like that. I'm going to start the stream, and there I'm going to be, hi, Marty Lauderdale. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I have some information that I think you guys are going to be interested in learning. It's not going to come, of course, it's not going to come through your mainstream feeds and buzzes, but it will certainly be it's going to be important to your strategy, your approach in these times. Okay, I think it's definitely going to be relevant. So you're going to want to know what's going on here, and you'll be able to chime in, of course. I think it's going to be kind of juicy. Like when you guys get to chime in, it's always juicier. It's always more fulfilling that way. So we'll get into that. So we'll see. I'm going to try to do it this evening. I'm on the East Coast right now. I'm going to try to get it in before too late. I don't want to push it out until tomorrow, but let's see what we can do. And I hope you guys will join me for that stream, and that you'll pick up the pendulum where available. All right, guys. I will see you guys hopefully within like hour or two max. It's been kind of a long Monday, so look forward to seeing you guys in just a bit. And thank you so much to Marty Lauderdale for coming in. I really appreciate it. And for anybody that's considering coming in, I appreciate it too. Thank you so much. So this is a promo. I think I'm going to go live is what this is about. For anybody that's just tuning in or considering tuning in, that's going to be in about Yeah, I would say an hour, 2 hours. Marty Lauder says I've got to be somewhere at 8 o'clock EST, but I'll try to pop in for at least some of it. Yes, perfect. I appreciate it, Marty. Thank you so much for all you do for keeping us on our toes. I appreciate it. All right. Take care. See you guys later. Sorry about that. Okay, so what you have right now is Patriot Post. Hitler's brown shirts used Antifa tactics to overthrow Germany's republic. Okay, and let's see. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Patriot Post, but we're going to go for it. It says after World War I, Germany's economy suffered from depression and a devaluation of their currency. On January 30th, 1933, Adolf Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany by promising hope and universal health care. Less than a month later, on February 27th, 1933, a crisis occurred. The Reichstag, Germany's Capitol building, was suspiciously set on fire with evidence pointing to Hitler's supporters. Hitler was quick to use this crisis as an opportunity to set aside Germany's Weimar Republic and suspend basic rights. Hitler overthrew the traditional leadership of Germany by using riots to destabilize the country. Hitler had radical homosexual activist Ernst Röhm and his feared brown shirts, also called Sturmabteilung. That's probably wrong. I don't speak German by any stretch. Stormtroopers to storm into the meetings of his political opponents, disrupting and shouting down speakers. Brown shirts organized Antifa-style protests and street riots, smashing windows, blocking traffic, setting fires, vandalizing, and even beating to death innocent bystanders to spread fear and panic. They implemented boycotts of Jewish businesses and the Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. They smashed windows of over 7,500 Jewish stores and 200 synagogues. Once securely in power, Hitler had his SS and Gestapo secret police kill the brown shirts in the night of the long knives, thus eliminating competition and giving the public impression that he was cracking down on lawbreakers. Hitler eradicated any remnants of moral religious restraint. He forced old German military leaders to retire by falsely accusing them. Some were imprisoned and even shot without trial. Hitler confiscated guns from private citizens. Hitler's Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, pioneered the use of fake news to sway the public opinion to accept the lies of the deep state. My gosh, where have we heard or seen this stuff before? Where? Hi, Independent Manny. Just Francis Bird. Yes, you can. This is on the 11th hour, but this is looking a little bit, parallel, right? All right, so you had the propaganda minister. Yeah, do we have that around here somewhere? It says if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The truth is the greatest enemy of the state, end quote. In socialist countries, a person's life is only worth its benefits. Life is only worth if it benefits the state. Quote, no life is still valuable to the state will be wantonly destroyed. This is a German Penal Code, October 10th, 1933. Those not promoting the deep state narrative are driven from their jobs, publicly ridiculed, and eventually removed from society to accept labor in concentration camps. You see, does that sound like anything else we've seen? National Socialist Workers' Party operated over 1,200 concentration camps where millions of Jews, Poles, Gypsies, handicapped, and others were experimented upon, tortured, or were killed in gas chambers. German churches were silent, as they had for centuries taught pietism, a version of separation of church and state, where Christians were instructed to only focus on their own personal spiritual life and withdraw from involvement in worldly politics. As a result, the church stood by silent as the National Socialist Workers' Party usurped power, leaving the stopping of Hitler to dawn by the sacrifice of millions of courageous Allied soldiers. By the time a few courageous Germany church leaders spoke out, such as Dietrich Bonhoeffer, it was too late. The government had grown so powerful, it simply arrested and executed them. Hitler's National Socialist Party, Workers' Party, used diplomatic intimidation, deception, and blitzkrieg, quote, lightning war, and quote, attacks to take control of. Here's a list of the countries here. And you guys don't need me to read this. I won't read that. Other Axis powers were also aggressively expanding. Italy had invaded Ethiopia in 1935, and the Empire of Japan had invaded China in 1937. United States World War II on December 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor was bombed by Imperial Japan, a tripartite pact partner with Nazi Germany and Italy's Mussolini. Turning point in the Pacific War was the Battle of Midway, June 4th, 1942. The turning point in Europe was D-Day, June 6, 1944. Over 160,000 troops from America, Britain, Canada, Free France, Poland, and other nations landed along a 50-mile stretch of the Normandy coast of France. Where am I getting cost at? In his D-Day orders, June 6, 1944, Supreme Allied Commander General Dwight Eisenhower sent nearly 100,000 Allied troops marching across Europe to defeat Hitler's National Socialist Workers' Party. Quote, you are about to embark upon the Great Crusade. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. You will bring about the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well trained, well equipped, battle hardened. He will fight savagely. And let us all beseech the blessings of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking, end quote. It was the largest seaborne invasion force in world history, supported by 1,300 aircraft, 5,000 ships, with 195,700 Navy personnel. Prior to the invasion, Allies attempted to mislead the Nazis as to where the attack would take place. The invasion was supposed to take place June 5th, but the weather was so bad, aircraft could not fly. General Eisenhower gave this risky order to delay the attack 24 hours to allow the weather and tide to improve. The night before, Allied aircraft launched an enormous air assault on Nazi defenses, batteries, and bridges. The paratroopers were sent in behind enemy lines to cut off their supplies. President Ronald Reagan stated at the 40th anniversary of D-Day, quote, something else helped the men of D-Day. Their rock-hard belief that Providence would have a great hand in the events that would unfold here. That was God that was God, that God was an ally in this great cause. And so the night before the invasion, when Colonel Wolverton asked his parachute troops to kneel with him in prayer, he told them, well, do not bow your heads, but look up so you can see God and ask his blessing in what we're about to do. Also that night, General Matthew Ridgway on his cot, listening in the darkness from the promise God made to Joshua, I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Then elite Army Rangers went in to scale the cliffs and take out Nazi machine gun positions. President Reagan stated, quote, 40 years ago at this moment, the air was dense with smoke and cries of men, and the air was filled with the crack of rifle fire and the roar of cannon. At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped off the British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. Their mission was one of the most difficult and daring of the invasion, to climb these sheer and desolate cliffs and take out the enemy guns. The Allies had been told that some of the mightiest of these guns were here, and they would be trained on the beaches to stop the Allied advance. The Rangers looked up and saw the enemy soldiers, the edge of the cliffs, shooting down at them with machine guns and throwing grenades. And the American Rangers began to climb. They shot rope ladders over the face of the cliffs and began to pull themselves up. When one Ranger fell, another one would take his place. When one rope was cut, a Ranger would grab another one and begin his climb again. They climbed, shot back, and held their footing. Soon, one by one, the Rangers pulled themselves over the top, and seizing the firm land at the top of these cliffs, they began to seize back the continent of Europe. 225 came here. After 2 days of fighting, only 90 could still bear arms. At 6:30 a.m., Allied forces began landing. Troops ran across the heavily fortified beaches of Utah Beach, Pont de Hoc, Omaha Beach, Gold Beach, Juno Beach, and Sword Beach. Ocean water ran red with blood of almost 9,000 killed or wounded. In the next 2.5 months, over 2 million soldiers arrived on the shores. Paris was liberated on August 25th, 1944, and the Nazi war machine was pushed back on the Seine River. It was a turning point in World War II. Reagan continued, the men of Normandy had the faith that what they were doing was right, faith that they fought for all humanity, faith that a just God would grant them mercy on this beachhead or on the next. It was the deep knowledge and pray God we have not lost it, that there is a profound moral difference between between use of force for liberation and the use of force for conquest, end quote. Shortly after D-Day on July 20th, 1944, a courageous German resistance movement was formed which attempted to assassinate Hitler, but he survived. Hitler retaliated by killing over 7,000 Germans. President Franklin Roosevelt stated on June 6, 1944, quote, my fellow Americans, last night when I spoke with you about the fall of Rome, I knew at that moment that the troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the channel in another and greater operation. I ask you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization. Give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfastness in their faith. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard. For the enemy is strong. He may hurl back our forces. We know that by thy grace and by thy righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph. Some will never return. Embrace these, Father, and receive them, thy heroic servants, into thy kingdom. One of those who, quote, never returned, end quote, was Orville William Epperson, the uncle of the writer of this article. He was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Corps, 525th Bomber Squadron, 379th Bomber Group, heavy recipient of the Purple Heart. Orville W. Epperson was killed in the month after D-Day, part of Operation Overlord, with his other 8 crew members. On July 9th, 1944, when his B-17, quote, Pansy Joachim, end quote, was shot down about 8.5 miles northwest of Le Havre over the English Channel. His name is on the monument near Omaha Beach, at the Cimetière Américain de Normandie in Colville-sur-Mer, France. At the killed in action wall, quote, tablet of the missing, FDR concluded his D-Day prayer, quote, help us, Almighty God, to rededicate ourselves in renewed faith in thee in this hour of great sacrifice. I ask that our people devote themselves in the continuance of prayer as we rise to each new day. And again, when each day is spent, let words of prayer be on our lips, invoking thy help to our efforts. Give us strength, and, O Lord, give us faith in thee. By thy blessing, we shall prevail over the unholy forces of our enemy, and a peace that will let all of men live in freedom, reaping just the rewards of their honest toil. Thy will be done, Almighty God. Amen. FDR's D-Day prayer will be added to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., thanks to the efforts of Chris Long on the Ohio Christian Alliance, who initiated the D-Day Landing Prayer Act, S1044, and those who financially donate. A bipartisan bill was introduced in the House by Ohio Congressman Bill Johnson, introduced in the Senate by Ohio Senator Rob Portman, and signed into law in 2014. As the memorial is to acknowledge prayer, feudal funds cannot be used to avoid lawsuits. Therefore, all funds for the project must be voluntarily given. The website for individuals to help with this historic project is www.ddayprayerproject.org. And it says here that President Donald Trump read a portion of Franklin Roosevelt's D-Day prayer at the 75th anniversary memorial event held in Portsmouth, England, with England's Queen Elizabeth II, Prime Minister Theresa May, French President Emmanuel Macron, and other leaders. 11 months after D-Day, the war in Europe ended with an Allied victory on May 8, 1945. Franklin Roosevelt stated in his D-Day prayer that the war was, quote, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, end quote. He gave further insight during a fireside chat April 28, 1942. We're almost to the end of this. Okay. It says, quote, this great war effort must be carried through. It shall not be imperiled by the handful of noisy traitors, betrayers of America, betrayers of Christianity itself. FDR stated at Madison Square Garden, New York, October 28, 1940, quote, we guard against the forces of anti-Christian aggression, which may attack us from without, and the forces of ignorance and fear, which may corrupt us from within. Well, that's pretty intense in these times. FDR stated in Brooklyn, New York, November 1st, 1940, quote, those forces hate democracy and Christianity as two phrases of the same civilization. Those oppose democracy because it is Christian. They oppose Christianity because it preaches democracy, end quote. FDR stated in a Labor Day address, September 1st, 1941, quote, preservation of these rights is vitally important now, not only to us who enjoy them, but to the whole future of Christian civilization, end quote. FDR addressed Congress March 1st, 1945, quote, I saw Sevastopol and Yalta, and I know that there is not room enough on earth for both German militarism and Christian decency. FDR stated May 27, 1941, quote, the whole world is divided between, quote, pagan brutality and Christian ideal. We choose human freedom, which is the Christian ideal, end quote. So this one comes out of Patriot Post. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thank you so much. I just kind of popped in here just to pop in here. Just kind of popped in just to pop in, but I'm not on mute anymore, but this was supposed to be a test. So, I find some of those prayers, and they're interesting. And they're also, to me, it's almost like, what do I want to say? Like this, it was ahead of its time or something. Like, I don't even want to say that because of the way things are. I don't know if you could even say that anymore, because I think some of this stuff is just too is too perfect for the timing. And I don't want to go in, I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist about it. I don't want to do it. Hi, Independent Minnie. How are you? Rachel Van Ziel is here. Rachel Van Ziel says Hitler took over religion, schools, and medicine. During Hitler, only certain meds could be used. Sound familiar? Wow, Rachel. You are blazing, my friend. Angry's here. This is supposed to only be a test, but I saw that article and I said, okay, let me just read it. Let me just see what it's about. Rachel says, when our government prays to God, we must ask which God. Right, Rachel. That's what I mean. You got it. Indie Conservative says, Angry Conservative. Why did I say Indie Conservative? Angry Conservative says, how long have you been following up? See, sorry about that. I'm reading. See, this is the inter chat stuff. But yeah, I just had to, just try to come on here a little bit, come back here because I was just on and we were talking about the new diagnosis codes that are coming to you earlier from courtesy of CDC on your immunization status. So, there's 3 codes that we talked about. Of course, this is Z28.310 for the unmocktailed and for CV19. And then there's Z28311, which is for the partially mocktail for the CV19. And then this Z28.39 other under immunization status. I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't know. If you guys can find out what that is, I'll flash it up here on the screen and I'm going to get us out of here on this test. Thank you so much. And Lisa is here. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's look at this one really quickly. Do we have any nurses in the house, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have one nurse in the house? Just asking. All right. Let's do, okay, so here it is right here. This is the one that you want to, because I don't know what it means, and I don't know what they're using to say what that is. So as you can see, it's the third one there, the third one from the ICD-10 CM. It's the Z28.39 other under immunization status. So they said, according to this, you can also, do your due diligence for more information on what constitutes, quote, being fully mocktailed. And you can visit the CDC's website. And they said this new code, the Z28.39, is for reporting when a patient is not current on other non-CV mocktail. See, you see how vague that is? I don't know what that means. And I'm not going to tell you the wrong thing just so I can say, well, I gave you some ideas. No, it's not. It's not. But if you guys can find out what that code is, or if you guys are going to go over, you can let us know, or if you can send me an email or something, I'll be happy to read your discoveries. And that'll be it. But we are going to wrap this up because we're going into the 10 o'clock hour here in less than 3 minutes. I want to say hi to everybody in the stream. Let's see. Long time here. Okay. If you guys are aware that the fourth booster is on the way to the call. Joseph Burton, thank you so much for supporting the channel and for coming in. I really appreciate it. I can't hear. It's really wondering. So yeah. Independent Manny, I'm so glad to see you in here. It's very nice. Thank you for coming in. And let us know when you're going live again. I don't want to miss that one either. And Rachel Van Ziel, thank you so much for coming in. Lisa D says, kind of busy right now, but popping on to say hi. I really appreciate you for doing that. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you. And Reasonability is here. You're too kind, Reasonability. Love to you. Love you right back. Hope you're doing well. I know, it seems like the last time you came in, you were talking about moving. I don't know if you did it, but I hope you did. And you got, you're getting what you need because, we're going to start doing some BS links and that's going to be our backstage. That's going to be the backstage pass. If you want one, you need to send me. I think maybe I'll start doing it next week or something, or maybe I'll do it. Maybe I could do one later. But I'll do it on the weekend. But let me know. Okay, so let me know if you're interested in the BS links, because I will provide those, the BS links. You need to email me for that. I really appreciate it. So we're going to see you guys back the next time. The first stream that we did, we had Derek C. Williams came in, bringing the heat like he always does. I mean, do we expect anything else? Do we expect anything less from Derek C. Williams? So if you want to come on in the future, just let me know. And if you're interested in the BS, literally BS, the BS is our code for backstage. Send me an email for the Black Spring BS, and there we're going to talk about real things. Yeah, you can bring it whatever you want, but we're going to kind of use that as like a 411 or kind of an informational thing. Yes, agreed. 100% concur. Rachel Van Zyl. Yeah, I wish that YouTube would restore this place back to the vitality component, with the vitality components that we had once before. Because you notice, guys, for any of you content creators or just YouTubers, if you've noticed, they have added the button back that we used to have to just simply bring. They've added the button back where you can literally just hit the person's name, and then you're dubbed. You're dubbed when you do that. You can hit it and it goes right to the channel, and you can do that. I know for people that had growth streams, like, is TR anywhere around here? I wonder if TR is aware that that's back for people that had growth streams. That was important for them, and it cut they put a whole lot of switchbacks. They put a bunch of switchbacks in there and kind of ruined it, so that's kind of what I'm on about where that's concerned. But you might be able to even grow. I'm thankful for Lisa D for coming over, and yeah, but you might be able to grow your channel again. I don't know. I think things might get interesting before the midterms, like really like right before. I think that's already in the works. So stay tuned, guys. Let me go ahead and say hi to everybody, and then get you out of here. Get you out of the test. Our tests usually end up being pretty good. So what I will do, it is 10:02 EST. So if anybody has anything to say, I'm going to put this out here for 3 minutes. We get 3 minutes, and then I'll bring us in. How about that? I'm just going to drop this link just to see if anybody wants to give us something to mow on before we get to bed. before we get on our mission to the hump day. Derek was, very nice, very, very nice as always. But we've had some fresh faces and some fresh voices on here as well. Last week we did. So there's your pendulum there, but there's a ton of things out here I didn't even touch. Like, I think this digital dollar thing is another piece that's kind of on my mind. Yeah, but I've really got a bitter taste in my mouth with this whole political thing. It's more than that to me. I just think that is their system, and you're never going to. You can't win. You cannot. I have an issue with people that somehow they kind of keep their channels alive by somehow, to me, like trying to equate. I don't think you could equate, politics and whether you say Christianity or God and saying those aren't the same, but they managed to sell both, and they've even been profitable in doing that. But I just think it's kind of blasphemous for them to do it. And just like, if this system is not his system, I know it's not. I don't agree with that. And I would not promote it as such for anything, for any amount of money. Yeah, it's like they got to keep hope alive. They keep you in the matrix, keep you spinning the big wheel and all these things. So that's what I'm on about with that. Yeah, because when people, I've told you guys this before. We say, "Oh, well, God put this person in office." No, please stop. just stop. Just stop. Now you're being. I don't want to say, but I think Rachel Van Zyl she knows what I'm on about. She says exchange of info is important. Yes, so we're gonna have some BS links. Maybe we can do them like twice, like once every 2 weeks or something. And that way, if you've got something new to add, if you discover something in between the last one, you can bring that one and we can do it backstage. Like, we're looking for stuff. We're looking for meds. We're looking for alternatives for emergencies. Emergency alternatives, even like power alternatives and all kinds of. We're looking for that kind of a thing on our 411, because I was calling it at one point a preppers potluck, but then it's going to be, to me, a little even wider than that is what's going to end up happening there. So I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down pretty good. You guys always do. All right, so we're going to get out of here on the test on this Tuesday. And thank you guys so much for coming in. Angry Conservative, Joseph Francis Burden, thank you. And who else? Rachel Van Zyl, it's so nice to see you. And Independent Many United. I think this is we got a lot of great content creators in here. And I think that this particular lady of Independent Many United is fantastic. And I'm happy to have made her acquaintance on Anarchy Television's channel. Very fantastic streams, and it's nice to hear from our brothers and sisters from across some people say across the pond, but I'm happy to be to be amongst those who think, and yes, let's just put it that way. And of course, Rachel Van Zyl, I'm always happy that you're here. It's nice to see you. Thank you for supporting us. And Risen Ability is here. Okay, so Risen Ability says, I sold my house, haven't found the right property yet. I hear you. It's a little crazy. Yeah, a little bit crazy. Yes, Rachel, we appreciate the critical thinkers like yourself, Independent Many. Like, you guys are all critical thinkers, because otherwise you probably would have zapped me by now. you would have zapped me. I know you would have. But we're going to get out of here. And I tell you, Uncool Paranoia is fantastic. That's another channel that I would love to catch up on her videos. Yeah, so shout out to her. And yeah, that's a great channel, especially in these times where we've talked about COVIDs. She has got a fantastic live stream on there where she goes into details and really breaks things down. I think she has an incredible edge on the symbolism and just helping you to see the language that they use. Yeah, I think it's awesome. So thank you guys again. Angry Conservative says, I just want to teach people about the past because a lot of it is happening again. Teach. You're right, Angry. And thank you. I had a great time over on your happy hour. I'm going to make sure I'm on time and that I don't miss it. That I don't miss any part of it and I get there on time. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. And Rachel says CV and AIDS are connected. Yeah. It is. I mean, yeah, I don't think they want to talk about that. And some people can't handle. I mean, I hate to sound like a few good men. Some people just can't. They can't handle the truth. They just let me stay in my slumber. Let me be. I just want to stay in my slumber right now. That's all I want to do. Don't tell me anything. just let me, but they just don't realize that. I think our time is really getting, I think we're going to see some hard times here very soon. And those are going to be the people that you're going to have to ward off, is what I think. Oh, and by the way, those codes that I was just showing you guys, that's supposed to be effective April 1. So if you go to urgent care or something like that, or whatever you're going to go, whether you go to, visits regularly, they're going to be, I think they're going to be using those codes. And I don't know what that's going to mean for your standard of care, or definitely even your privacy. To me, these are violating, violations. I want to say it's a Fourth Amendment violation. That there's privacy, there's a luxury to have privacy now, because there's nothing that they won't ask you if they start asking you these very specific questions about your health. Just, and including the employers as well. Once you kind of cross that line, it's, what else is, it's possible. Everything's possible. Hi, John Roberts. He says it's biblical, not political. Teach. See, you guys are bringing the heat. You are bringing the heat. All right. Well, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. I am. Yeah, I don't live there. I don't, but I have some roots there, and that's some strong, deep roots there. But but that's not my residence. It's not. So I have to, there's some things that I have to do. But no, I'm not. That's not my place. Not my zip code. All right. So I appreciate, but I'm very much, in the south of, in the south of the empire, if you will. Angry says, thank God, because some new laws are getting voted on Friday. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's some diabolical stuff going on there. Totally diabolical. Yeah, very much, especially with infanticide. Like I think that might be one of the ones where you're going to be able to abort and, to me, murder and maim a child, an innocent life. Like, just, it's just like, even I think at birth, I think is something was a part of that. And then, these people they're not afraid of letting people know who they are and who they represent. I think, what is it? Jennifer, what's her name? Newsom's wife is, basically praising, what's her name? Angela Davis. But this lady basically turned in her, she's trained like a lot. There's a lot more communist, I think, the people that were, U.S. citizens that basically turned to that. A lot of people don't know who they are, but there were a lot. It's more than Angela Davis. So yeah, like a lot of the elite professors or professor types. A lot of the elite professor types ended up, giving up their whatever to be a part of that. And a lot of them were trained. I think, was it Leonard? We had a Leonard, is it Patton, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's that, and that the JBS, I learned a lot from them on that, and some of the interviews that they did back in the day. So I think they've been around for some time. But I'm getting off on a tangent now. But I thank you guys. And Rachel Van Zyl says, Baphomet sacrifice. Right. Speaking of that, get over to the Lockhart Perspective, because she had a video today, and I want to see that product that they're pushing right now. I really want to see it. Hi, Information Man Show. Hope you're doing well out there. So yeah, but we'll get into that another day. But I'm gonna wind us down, and we'll see. We'll see where it takes us, I guess, because there's a lot. Some people are, don't know what they're asking for. and it might be closer to them than they think. All right, guys, I'm going to head out, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream in the comment section video, or like this is a random test, but the earlier stream was a bit meatier, and I look forward to seeing you guys around. Have a good night and a good Wednesday.